I want you to think about the object that is likely within arm's reach of you right now. It might even be the device you are using to listen to my voice. It is a smooth glass rectangle that holds our entire lives, our work, our memories, and most complicated of all, our relationships. It is a measure of how quickly our phones have changed our lives, that we are collectively still struggling to understand the powerful role they play in our romantic connections. We have welcomed these devices into our beds and our hearts. Yet, we rarely pause to acknowledge the special chaos and agony that can emerge from the tangled, falsely innocuous, and yet, in reality, infinitely complicated business of what we too casually know as texting. We think of it as a simple tool for communication, but for many of us, it has become a source of profound emotional turbulence. To understand why this is happening, we must look backward. For the vast majority of human history, contact between parted lovers had an elemental simplicity to it. Imagine a scene from 200 years ago. One solemnly took one's leave at the platform of a steam train, or the harbor side in London, Amsterdam, Cape Town, or Sydney. There was a hug, a tearful wave, and then silence. Once the ship disappeared over the horizon, there was absolutely no option other than to wait. In those days, you might wait for weeks, possibly months, or even years, to hear from the beloved ever again. It made for a deep, undeniably heavy, but also unavoidable and entirely impersonal kind of sorrow. One was forced to miss the other at a rate and rhythm sharply constrained by geography and technology. You knew that a letter could only travel as fast as a horse could gallop or a ship could sail. The length of time a coach took to negotiate the St. Bernard Pass, or a schooner took to sail the Straits of Gibraltar, dictated the silence. It was not personal. If you did not hear from your husband or your wife for 3 months, it did not mean they were ignoring you. It did not mean they were losing interest. It meant the ocean was wide and the journey was long. Worries were dampened by the implacable nature of the railway timetable or ocean currents. In the meantime, one simply got on with life. You collected the harvest, reared the animals, mended the roof, and perhaps shed the odd, quiet tear at bedtime before blowing out the candle. The silence was a fact of nature, like the weather. This situation has been radically transformed for modern lovers, for better and very much for worse. By offering us constant, seamless contact, our phones have simultaneously opened us up to perpetually renewed opportunities for doubt, disconnection, and anguished speculations as to the loyalty and interest of the other person. Because we can be in touch instantly, we feel we must be. And when we are not, the silence is no longer a geographical necessity. It is a choice. Exchanges have become live, ceaseless referenda on our worth and value. Every vibration in our pocket is a potential validation. Every hour of silence is a potential rejection. When divorce lawyers are nowadays called in, and assets are coldly split up between two people who once adored each other, the true cause is often an irreconcilable, hard to mention drama about red receipts and the dance of three blinking dots. We are ending marriages because of the timing of a blue bubble. The phone has, in particular, grown into a massive source of suffering for those pained characters known to psychological theory as the anxiously attached on the one hand and the avoidantly attached on the other. You may recognize yourself or your partner in these descriptions. The anxiously attached are dominated by a fear that they are never loved enough. They have a bucket with a hole in the bottom. No matter how much love you pour in, they always fear it is running dry. The avoidantly attached, by contrast, live in terror that they are about to lose their autonomy and independence to the demands of an all-engulfing partner. They view intimacy as a potential trap. In these fevered, anxious avoidant couplings, a tragic dance ensues. One person is forever feeling abandoned, while the other is forever feeling overwhelmed and criticized. In the olden days, such tensions were tempered by technological limits. When there was only the occasional mail coach or carrier pigeon to deal with, an anxiously attached person could take silence at face value. They had no choice. They could not spiral into a panic because there was no expectation of an instant reply. Their avoidantly attached partner, safe on the other side of the world, had only a single letter or two to write every month. They could love from a distance without feeling suffocated. But now the anxious partner must always wonder, with mounting alarm, why they have not, at 6:03 in the evening, received an answer to the 3 messages they sent at 6:04. 7 minutes have passed. In the mind of the anxious person, these 7 minutes are not just time, they are evidence. If they loved me, they would reply. They must be angry. They must be with someone else. They are bored of me. The story spins out of control, whereas the avoidant partner must wonder, with equal sadness and fury, why it cannot be enough to have told their partner they loved them 14 hours ago. They look at their phone and see the notifications piling up, and they do not feel love, they feel hunted. They feel a tightening in their chest. They wonder why they are not allowed to have a single thought to themselves without needing to report it. They ask themselves why they must look at a notification the second it arrives. Part of the difficulty lies, as ever, in each party recognizing the legitimacy of their pain and their right to make a polite, well-articulated fuss about so-called, but not in fact, small things. We tell ourselves, it is just a text. I am being silly. But it is never just a text. It is a signal of safety or danger to our mammalian brains. In a better arranged world, lovers would formally be told that the business of texting sat upon a hugely significant area of their relationship. We would treat it with the seriousness of a financial merger. We wouldn't be left to find out for ourselves through tears and arguments at midnight. How much it can hurt to wait for a line overnight. Alternatively, we would not be left to discover how suffocating it can feel to have to type out a reply under emotional duress, feeling like a hostage to the device. Ideally, we would be guided to acknowledge our distinctive patterns of communication and articulate them calmly and kindly from the first date. Imagine a world where lovers on early dates might find themselves discussing texting styles with the same earnestness with which they would otherwise consider plans for children or aspirations around career and money. They might sit over coffee and cover questions like, how often should we message during the workday? What is a comfortable waiting time for a reply? Is it 1 hour or 6? How do you feel about good morning texts? How many kisses should fairly appear at the end of a goodbye? These sound like trivial details, but they are the bricks and mortar of our daily emotional stability. If one person expects a constant stream of consciousness, and the other prefers a single meaningful update at night, disaster is inevitable unless they negotiate. There might, at the same time, be more readiness to explore the ways in which certain genuinely immature and unfinished sides of our personalities can show up in our texting habits. This requires bravery. We might have to admit that there are times when we unfairly try to remedy a sense of inner emptiness by pressing for ever more contact. We might realize that we are using our partner's attention to plug a hole in our self-esteem. Or even darker, we might admit that we sometimes almost will a partner to let us down in their texting habits. We might subconsciously bombard them when we know they are busy, setting them up to fail, just so that we can fall back on the peculiar comforts of loneliness and pessimism with which we are most at home. It is a strange thing, but sometimes feeling neglected feels safer than feeling loved because it is familiar. It confirms our oldest, saddest stories about ourselves, just as we might, with equal bravery, admit to taking a certain cruel delight in not answering a partner we know desperately depends on us. There is a power in silence. There is a control in withholding. We might catch ourselves seeing the message pop up, knowing our partner is anxious, and choosing to swipe it away and wait an hour just to feel the thrill of autonomy. This might be a way of sadistically exercising a dependence on a parent who disappointed us as toddlers. We turn the tables. Once, we were the helpless child waiting for a parent to respond. Now we are the powerful adult making someone else wait. As with so many new technologies, our phones surreptitiously worsen our already existing weaknesses. They are amplifiers, like processed sugar for the greedy or unlimited pornography for the lustful. They play havoc with the minds of the insecurely or defensively attached. They take our natural tendencies and put them on steroids. They require equal foresight and self-protection. We cannot just use them mindlessly. We must use them mindfully. The road to living more easily around our phones begins with a frank acknowledgement of the momentous challenges they present us with. We need to stop pretending this is easy. We should be compassionate enough to ourselves to appreciate what an achievement it is to enjoy a calm texting life with a partner. It is not the norm, it is a victory, and we must recognize how much careful work we may still need to do to achieve one. So, what can we do? If you are the anxious one, try to practice the art of the pause. When you send a message and do not get an instant reply, catch the narrative before it spirals. Remind yourself, they are busy, they are working. Silence is not rejection. Visualize that old steam train. Visualize the ocean. Remember that love can exist across gaps of time. Try to self-soothe without reaching for the phone as a pacifier. Put the phone in another room and do something physical. Wash the dishes, take a walk, stretch your body. Reclaim your own time. If you are the avoidant one, try to practice the art of the small signal. Understand that your partner is not trying to control you. They are trying to feel safe. A simple message saying, "I am swamped at work, will call you at 8, can prevent hours of agony for them and hours of conflict for you. It is a small cost for a large amount of peace. Understand that their need for connection is not a weakness, just as your need for space is not a crime. And for both of you, have the conversation. Tonight or this weekend, put the phones down. Look each other in the eye. Ask the question, how is our digital life working for us? Talk about the 3 blinking dots. Talk about the read receipts. Talk about the anxiety and the suffocation. Bring these ghosts out into the light. Ultimately, the phone is just a tool. It is a piece of glass and metal. It does not have a soul, and it cannot give us a soul. It cannot give us certainty, and it cannot give us freedom. We have to give those things to ourselves and to each other. We have to learn to be alone together and together apart. We have to learn that true connection is not about a constant stream of data, but about the quality of the love we hold in our hearts, even when the screen is dark. Love is a discipline. It is the discipline of trusting when we cannot see. It is the discipline of respecting boundaries when we want to merge. It is the discipline of being kind when we feel fearful. In this digital age, that discipline is harder than ever, but it is also more necessary than ever. Let us be gentle with ourselves as we navigate this new terrain. We are ancient brains trying to love in a digital world. It is messy, it is hard, but it is also possible. Thank you for spending this time with me on Happy Aura. I hope this discussion helps you look at that device in your pocket a little differently today. I hope it helps you find a little more peace in the silence and a little more joy in the connection. Remember, you are in control, not the phone. You are the author of your relationship, not the algorithm. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Until next time, breathe deep and let the love in.